Hi, this is Michael Saman on behalf of my business partner, Andy Jenkins.
Multitasking here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I want to welcome people who are joining, and excuse me 1 second. Don't want to do that. Let me see who's joining us. Okay, so I want to welcome people who are joining, and let me just make a quick change here in my environment. I have to double check that everything's working. So let me make attendee list public. Okay, I see we have a few people on. That's good. I'm just making some minor adjustments here, and then I'll go back to sharing my desktop. There we go. All right. So welcome, Mo. I see you're on. We have on the right-hand side of the screen a administrative link, a sticky note that goes to the Facebook group. And if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, please go ahead and click on that link. I have our administrator, Paul, online, and he will go ahead, if you're not already a member, and give you access. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes for some more people to possibly join. I also wanted to mention that I'm going to try to address questions that people have. So I've already started a thread in Facebook. Let me actually tab to that screen so maybe you can see it. Give me one moment here. And let's see, I'll just hit escape from this slide. Okay, here we go. So I'm sharing my desktop. You should see the Facebook group. And if you scroll down a little bit, I started a thread for today. And it says, actually, hold on 1 second. I was multitasking earlier, so I might have started writing and didn't post it. I noticed this says July 3rd. Okay, let me write a post right now. And hello, everyone. Please introduce. and name, location, and post your questions or comments here. Okay. So if everyone can post their questions or comments in this thread for this particular webinar, then I will have one location to focus on, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you might have. All right. So let me go back to this screen. Give me one moment here. I'll share my desktop. All right. Okay, so I'm looking at the attendee list, and everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This webinar is recorded, so if you have any questions or need assistance with anything that is presented, you'll have the opportunity to play it back and listen to it again. So feel free to do that. As I just mentioned, we have a Facebook group. There's a sticky chat you'll see on the right-hand side that redirects everyone to the Facebook group, and we have an admin there who will give you membership immediately. Today I'll show you the location of the files we're going to go through, and we're going to go through some things I think that will help you be successful with your ability to control risks. And I also wanted to mention that for the VIP members who are a part of e-projectmanagers.com, I have a weekly mastermind group where we meet in Google Hangouts and have a conversation and go through more information to help you be successful and answer questions directly. And last but not least, for those of you who stay to the end of this webinar, you'll have the opportunity to receive a free gift from me that's valued at $97. So I encourage you to stay with this. And for those of you who are listening to the replay, feel free to go ahead and also listen to the whole thing. And when I mention what the free gift is, feel free to try and get it as well. Just because you're listening to the replay does not mean that you won't have the opportunity. You never know, okay? So now let me go back to my web browser. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. One moment. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm trying to flip back into my camera. Oh. Okay, so I believe this is me. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so hello everyone. So today I wanted to focus on controlling risks. In our last webinar, we went through some tools and techniques that you can use for initially capturing your risks. And today I want to expand a little bit on that so that you could go through your project lifecycle with a process that will help you be successful. Okay, so let me go back to the files that we use. And by the way, I'm actually showing these files through Google Docs, but these are all files that you can download from e-projectmanagers.com. I put them in Google Docs. I'm going to share my desktop now, and that's the best way to access these files that I'm sharing with you. Okay, So let me go back to Chrome and open up this file. So this is the risk management tool set, and just to quickly repeat, last week we went to e-projectmanagers.com. I showed you where to go in the PM templates section to download. When you go into PM templates, you can download the files that we're going through, the risk management tools. For example, if you go into the project planning and then scroll to the very bottom of the list, the risk management tools are there. There are other documents in here as well that you'll find helpful, such as the chair log, which is used for tracking changes, action items, issues, and risks. There's also a weekly status report document, which we're also going to review. And there are project plan templates in there as well. So when you come into eprojectmanagers.com, simply come to the PM template section and download the templates that you need. And these are the same templates that we're using in this presentation. I've uploaded them into Google Docs because it's easier to work from there for me, to have them all in one central location. So let me just resize this for a second so I can see everything I need. Okay, there we go. So what I did is I went ahead from last week and I filled in a couple of these risk survey forms, and we're going to walk through what you do with this information and how you can control it. As you can see in this example on screen, I've written in the top right a constraint due to price inflation of construction materials. So I've given it a probability of 3, and again, all of this is customizable. For this template, when you download it, it has some metrics in here. 3 for probability is a 50-50 chance of something happening. And I set the impact over here to be 3. And the impact in this template in the comments area simply means stop, take a look, could impact us, we might have to catch up. Okay? So I've weighed this risk, and I've written down what the constraint is, and I've also written down what the event is. The event is the cost of planned construction material increasing, and the effect, oops, excuse me, I paged up too far. The effect would be it may impact what can be accomplished. Actually, let me go to the second tab we have here because I have more information in terms of the mitigation strategy on this tab. So I just paged over to the second tab, which includes a mitigation strategy. It's the same information in terms of a survey form and your ability to track the information. Actually, I just noticed on this one I set the impact to a 4, and let me go back and read to you what 4 is. 4 is significant amount of additional resources, time, cost, and or milestone dates may need to change. Again, all this information over here you can customize and set up to fit your environment. I've measured this with a probability of 3, impact of 4, and the effect is if the price inflates, then it may cause us to do a new analysis on what we can accomplish in the project, because we may not be able to do everything that we plan to do. And the mitigation strategy in this case is monitor forecasted material costs weekly. Okay. Now, there's one other detail I want to show you, which you may have a question about. The risk board, which I showed you, once you've captured all of your risk on the little piece of paper, ultimately, when you meet with your team and review it, you'll have on your whiteboard or on a plotter all of the risk placed in the order in which they've been categorized, or ranked, I should say. And how that's done, just to clarify, is if you have a risk with a probability of 3, this is the probability column. If it's a probability of 3 and an impact of 3, let me just minimize my screen a little bit so you can see more. Then you would paste it in this section of the screen. If it's probability of 3 and an impact of 4, it would be over here, because this is the probability column, and down here is the impact. So you would place it, if it's a probability of 3 and impact of 4, at this point. And just another quick example: if the probability was a 2 and the impact was a 4, here's 4, then it would be placed over here. And again, this overview gives you a perspective of how many risks you have, whether your project has chances of, success or failure. If there are more risks, there's always more chances of failure, but then again, you'd need to have more controls in place to control those risks. So I just want to point that out. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the risk log. In the risk log, what we've done is, after you've gathered all your risks, you would then go ahead and enter the risks. So let's say you had your risk analysis meeting on June 28th, and you assigned an owner to the risk of the price inflation of construction material as Roberta. And let's say when you were gathering your risk on the survey form, and again, feel free to customize this as well. You can add categories, you could add a risk owner to this form, whatever works for you in terms of gathering the information, you should do that. But once you've gathered it, you want to put it in this log, which you'll be using in your weekly status reports. You'll also use this log, which we'll show you in a minute, to update your project schedule. So I've identified the risk owner as Roberta. Let's say she's from the cost or finance group, and that's where this particular risk would, the area that would be impacted. And the risk description is price inflation of construction materials. The potential impact may impact what we accomplish, what can be accomplished, because if you have a budget that's limited and you discover that your costs of construction materials has increased, then it's going to impact what you can accomplish if all the other costs remain the same. The trigger event is price increase, and in this case, the trigger date is, we'll say, August 8th, and that has to do with the project schedule, which I'm going to show you in a minute here. We have a date in which we have to buy these materials, and we're going to want to monitor the activity and have our mitigation strategy in place prior to the date that we want to buy the materials. So we have a trigger date that leaves us enough room to be able to do that. And then here is the probability and the impact value. And let me scroll over a little bit to the right. This particular template, as mentioned before, automatically calculates a total based on the probability and impact. You can also change these weights and this formula to meet whatever your organization needs. So in this case, we literally multiply the probability impact to come up with this value here. In this case, the mitigation strategy was to monitor forecasted material costs weekly, and the response strategy in this case would be to locate a dealer that is within budget. And then the last date that this particular risk was reviewed was July 2nd. And the status of this risk is it's in progress. It was opened already, and we started monitoring it. It's in progress, and this is something that we will review on a weekly basis in our status meetings. So this is an example of filling out the risk log, and I wanted to point out, going back to eprojectmanagers.com, that when you're in the PM template section, you'll see, I mentioned the chair log. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Chair log, changes, action items, issues, and risks. I recommend downloading this. I'm going to download a copy right now. Actually, on this computer that I'm on, I don't have Excel, so I'm going to ignore that. But you would download that copy, and the chair log is an Excel file similar to this that allows you, it has a worksheet for tracking changes, a worksheet for tracking action items, and a worksheet for tracking risks. Okay? And what you would do is bring that to your status meeting, and you would review them in your status meeting. So if I go back to, let me just open up an example here of a status document. I already downloaded the weekly status report. In eProject Managers, you'll find that there are a few. There's a detailed status report. There's a few variations of status reports. So this is just one example here. called the weekly status report that I downloaded from eprojectmanagers.com, e-projectmanagers.com. So I'm going to open this and share this with you. So what you'll do is in your weekly status meeting, or however often you're meeting, you would review your open risks. Now, this is an example. It's loading right now. And by the way, for those of you who just joined, feel free to post any questions that you may have while I'm talking into the Facebook group, and I will take a moment to try and address some of those questions for you when we're done with this presentation. So in this weekly status report document, I filled in a few things. I left the template as it is. This is all 100% customizable. But let's say in your case you have an organization where you have to produce a weekly status report. If it's bi-weekly or monthly, the structure is similar. The idea is that you're communicating to management where you are, what you've accomplished, and some of the things that you want to bring to their attention. So in this status report, let me just make this a little larger. I have at the very top a section where you're going to mention your milestones for your project. And you generally want to put what's in the next 2 weeks or 2 months, depending on how large your project is. And in this case, the milestone that we're going to be talking about is a milestone for verifying the inflation for asphalt, verifying the price inflation for asphalt. And the planned date for doing that is August 8th. And in this status report, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see, and again, I didn't fill everything out here, but I think you understand the gist of it. At the very bottom, I can list my issues and risks, and in this case, there's a risk of price inflation of construction materials. Okay. Now, going back to the project schedule, let me just open up a copy here of this is Project 2010, and this is an example. I've formatted this so that the milestones are showing in blue. I find when you set up a project schedule, and I go through this in terms of how to set up a project schedule in my program at createandmanageschedules.com. So if you need assistance with that, you can pick up one of those training tutorials at createandmanageschedules.com. So anyway, there's a milestone. Let's say your project is paving a driveway, and we have a milestone here to verify price inflation for asphalt and then close the risk. And that milestone is set for August 8th. Which is the date that we mentioned is our plan date. And in our risk log, we have that as our trigger date. Okay, so here's the trigger date, August 8th. Oops. All right, so in your project schedule, whichever you're using, you know, whatever product you're using, you could put in a milestone for the trigger event that you are tracking. Okay, and it's assigned to Roberta, who we mentioned is from the Cost and Finance group. We want to verify the price, and then after that, then they will buy the asphalt. And the way this is set up is so that if by chance the price changes before the driveway is excavated, we leave a lag in time, 5 days, in case we need to change to a different vendor to buy the asphalt if the price did change. Okay, but this is an example of a project schedule that's showing the structure of adding in a milestone so that you can track your risks and know when to close them. So this is an example, tracking it. Then after, if you discover that the price is the same, you'll go ahead and buy it, and then you'll proceed. I gave a 5-day lag a week later to actually start the excavation and then paving the driveway, and in this case, this project is complete. Obviously, on larger projects, there'll be more tasks involved and more relationships between tasks, but you get the idea. Once you've identified your risks and then logged them, you'll want to have a touch point place where you can review the risks with the people who are responsible for them. So let's say you have a status meeting and Roberta would be present. you know, you would ask her the status of where she is with the ownership of this risk. And then once the trigger date has passed, literally in your log, you would change the progress, the status to closed. Okay? So that's pretty much the structure. I mean, in terms of how often you meet, to my camera here, hold on one moment. Stop sharing my desktop. Okay, there we go. So in terms of the structure of how often you meet to review the chair log, the risk log, really depends on your organization. But for reporting purposes, you'll discover that management finds it helpful to be able to see that you're controlling risks, that you have a mechanism for tracking them. If you have a project schedule tool that you're using, go ahead and enter those risks as milestones that you can capture the information and track it with the risk owners. And you know, that's the process that you should use. There should be some structure that you're going back to on a regular basis. Now let me go into Facebook and see if there are any questions. I'm going to go back to that full screen mode and see if anyone has any questions that I can answer for you. So bear with me one moment. And okay, so I don't see questions right now, but that's okay. But again, feel free to come back and fill this in if you have any questions relating to what we're talking about. And let me go back to my presentation. Give me one moment here, since I'm sharing the desktop. All right. Now, for those of you who have stayed to the end, I wanted to offer you the opportunity to meet with me. And if, you know, feel free to, if you've done this already, because I know a few people who are on the call right now have met with me, you're welcome to, I'm just paging through, here we go. You're welcome to fill out the survey and try and meet with me again. The free gift that I'm offering participants and is to meet with me for 15 minutes in a private Skype coaching call. What I do is I record the session and you'll get a copy of it when we're done. And I have a program in my VIP program on e-projectmanagers.com where you'll have access to management conversations. And basically that's the conversations that I have with people who I have in 15-minute one-on-one sessions, and you'll find it very helpful. Okay, so to get to this free gift, all you need to do is from the Facebook page, you'll see here, it says additional coaching sessions are available, click here. So simply click here, fill out the survey that's there, and I will be reaching out to you, okay? And I wanted to mention that on the next the next webinar, July 23rd at 1:30, we're going to review how to create a master schedule in Microsoft Project. This is something that I have actually walked many people through. It's very helpful if you're juggling multiple projects simultaneously, and this is a very popular subject for many people. Okay, and I'm going to post this presentation up in the Facebook group, and when you get the electronic copy, you'll be able to click on the link to register for this webinar. And let me check one more time to see if anyone has any questions out here. Let me refresh my page. Dun, 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 dun. Waiting for the refresh. All right, give me one moment here, scrolling down. And just, you know, I do plan to keep these webinars short because I know that most people have a lot on their plate, so I don't want to take too much time. Okay, perfect. So I don't see any additional questions there, but you're always welcome to email me if you have any questions. I appreciate the time that you're taking to join the webinars. And that's it for today. Let me escape out of here and go back to the camera that I have. Give me one moment. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have a Google Hangout session that I participate in with members who are VIP members of e-projectmanagers.com. And if you're interested in more coaching one-on-one or in a small group, feel free to join that. And to do that, simply sign up as a VIP member on e-projectmanagers.com. And you can participate in the Hangouts that we have. Also, if you have any subjects that you'd like me to cover, feel free to post that in Facebook, and I'll be happy to try and address them. Okay? So thank you for your time, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.